With the November election just 5 weeks away, people are bombarded with ads telling them how to vote. Figuring out what's accurate and what's not is a difficult task. Prop 23 is not different. Proponents say it will create jobs in California, while opponents say it will kill jobs. And here to tell us what's going on is KPBS environment reporter Ed Joyce. Glad you could be with us, Ed.
Nice to be here.
First of all, what would Prop 23 do?
What it would do is suspend AB 32, the state's Global Warming Solutions Act, or also known as greenhouse gas emissions regulations, until the state's unemployment rate dropped to 5.5% for 4 consecutive quarters.
What is the unemployment rate now?
Over 12% right now.
Over 12, so it'd have to drop to 5.5%?
For 4 consecutive quarters.
That means a whole year.
A whole year.
Oh, okay.
Incredibly low rate.
It would. All right, now let's talk about this job creation versus job destruction. How would suspending California's greenhouse emissions law create more jobs?
Well, the proponents say what will happen if this law rolls out into full force is that it'll actually hurt the job market because companies will have to spend money to meet these regulations. Because of those additional costs, it's assumed by a study that was done by the proponents that people would be laid off. So it actually would create a job loss situation.
All right, give me a little example of what you're talking about. You know, what's one industry that might lay off workers because they have to abide with new regulations?
Let's say a power plant has to create some new emissions control devices to restrict and reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. The cost of that might be borne by them laying off some workers to make that happen.
Got it. I understand. So who's behind Prop 23?
Well, the major funders are 2 oil companies that are based in Texas, Tesoro and Valero. The proponents do say that these companies do operate in California. They pay California taxes and they employ people here. But they've been castigated for being out-of-state Texas oil companies that are behind this measure.
Why would they be behind a measure like this? How would it benefit them?
Well, you have to look at the regulations themselves. The idea is to move to alternative fuels, to get away from fossil fuels, dirty energy as it's called. These are oil companies. They make their money producing crude oil and turning it into gasoline.
Okay, now let's take the other side. The opponents to Prop 23 say it will kill jobs. How will it kill jobs?
Well, AB 32 has spurred a lot of fledgling industries and innovation, clean tech, green investment. A lot of companies in San Diego, Clean Tech San Diego has sprung up around that idea, biofuels. So they say that these jobs, without these incentives that this California standards would enforce, without these standards, it'll hinder that innovation, that job creation won't happen.
Why is this of particular importance to San Diego? It's a statewide measure.
Well, we have a growing clean tech industry here, and a lot of that is driven by these standards, which would require public utilities, for example, to get a certain percentage of their electricity from renewable sources. That's driving solar investment, biofuels investment, and so on, and wind as well.
Now, I know that Jerry Brown running for governor, he is opposed to 23. And just yesterday, Republican gubernatorial candidate Meg Whitman came out against it. There's an interesting story behind that.
Well, George Shultz, the former Secretary of State under President Reagan, co-chairs the No on Prop 23 campaign. He also chairs Meg Whitman's gubernatorial campaign. Now, Meg Whitman had come out and said she would suspend AB 32 if she became governor. Well, Jerry Brown had been asking her to come out with more of a stance on Prop 23, and this week she came out against Prop 23.
Okay, well, there were going to be some Republicans that aren't happy with her on this one.
That is true. A lot of taxpayer groups as well.
This is true. Thank you very much, Ed Joyce.
Thank you, Gloria.